Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for sticking around. So today I am starting a little series, a little update series about my braces journey. I know that at the beginning of the year, I basically did a video where I talked about all my goals for this year, and one of my top priorities was my braces. So I am coming to you 14 weeks into my treatment, and I want to film these videos to help people who are thinking about getting braces and are just unsure about what the journey is really like as far as, you know, cost-wise, pain-wise, and just like all the struggles of having braces. And so I wanted to talk about it, and I will be doing updates as I go along in my treatment. Like I said, I'm only 14 weeks into my treatment, and I have experienced about everything I could experience with these braces. It's been tough, but it's so rewarding and it's so worth it, and I would do this again in a heartbeat. So let's get into it. I do have some notes here just so that I remember what exactly I'll be talking about, my dates, and as far as what was done at each adjustment. So far I have had I've had two adjustments. I've been to the orthodontist 3 separate times, but the first time was the day that I actually got my braces on. So let's start off. So it was in I think the end of December when I really decided that I was gonna get my braces. I still had a little bit of work that I needed to get done before I took the leap, but I know it was something that I definitely wanted to do. So I think the beginning of January was when I had my consultation with my orthodontist. And really what I did is I just yelped orthodontist in the area, and that's how I found mine. I actually had called several offices, and a lot of them only did Invisalign, which was really weird. I knew that Invisalign I really didn't want to do because that system is with the clear trays, so you'd have to take them out every single time you ate and then put them back in, and I think you can only have them out for a total of 2 hours every day. And I know myself, and I know that I would probably be really bad about that, so I knew that that was something that I definitely didn't want to do. So I wanted to go the traditional route. And so I went in and did my consultation. I met my orthodontist, and they said that I was actually a really good candidate for just the Damon system. So what it is they're braces. They look like regular braces, but instead of the traditional brace where you have a little colored rubber band on the bracket that holds the wire in place, these do not. So these are just full metal, and they actually have like a little hinge door that they open, they place the wire in, and then they close the little hinge, so it doesn't actually require any of the little ligature ties that traditional braces have. She did ask me if I wanted to maybe do Invisalign, and I said that okay, I was maybe open to it, but upon inspection of my mouth, she did say that I needed to get 3 teeth taken out of my mouth to be a candidate to get Invisalign. And that was definitely something I didn't want to do. Like, I paid so much money to get my teeth fixed, to get them healthy enough to get braces, and the last thing I wanted to do was get 3 teeth removed. I already have 1 tooth missing on this side, and I just didn't want any more weird spaces in my mouth. So we definitely decided to go the Damon route as far as braces go. I was quoted 17 to 24 months. I am hoping that it is 17 months because I don't know if I can do 24 months. I'm only 3.5 months into my treatment, and I already feel like it's been a lifetime. So I don't know as far as time-wise. I'm hoping that it's sooner than later. I have noticed a lot of movement in my mouth. Oh my gosh, like my teeth, I've never seen my teeth this straight. Like I had really bad crooked teeth to start off with, and I will actually be inserting pictures as I talk about my experience. So I'll insert a picture of what my teeth actually look like the day that I actually got my braces. It was a mess. It was a hot mess. So definitely needed my braces. So I scheduled my the day I was gonna get my braces put on, and initially I had told my orthodontist that I wanted to do both top and bottom braces the same day, and she said okay, we can do that. So the day was January 23, 2018. So I went in and I was really nervous, but I think more so excited, just because like this was my journey. Like this was where everything was going to change. It was going to happen for me this day. So I went in, and upon my orthodontist checking my mouth again, she did decide to only go ahead and apply my top braces, and she said that she wanted to do that because I hadn't had braces before, so she said she wanted me to kind of just get a feel for them. She didn't want to like overwhelm me with all the pain that I was gonna suffer. And then, sorry, just to backtrack a little bit, at my initial consultation, after I did decide to get my braces, they did do a whole scan of my mouth. Like you have to stand in this machine, and it like rotates around your head, so it gets like a full like scan of your mouth. So that happened at my initial consultation. Now back to the day that I was getting my braces. So they did decide to apply my top braces, and then they did decide to put a spring. So it's like a little coiled spring, and it went right here. And I'll actually zoom in. I don't have it anymore, but I'll put in a picture of what it looked like. But it went right here. And that is because I have this tooth that was way in the back, and these teeth needed to go this way. They needed to spread apart so that that tooth had enough, so that tooth had enough space for it to fully pop in through. So they put that spring in, and I felt a lot of pressure. I didn't feel any pain on initial application of my top braces. I was so happy and excited, and after they took, because they put this plastic thing in your mouth to shred your mouth open. After they took that out and they had put like my brackets and my wires and my spring, like my top lip felt so awkward. Like I didn't even know where my top lip would go, because like my top lip even now wants to rest on my braces. So it was like when I was talking, like I had to like make sure I like put my lip over my braces like that. It was so awkward and just weird. I went home that night and I ate dinner. I ate something soft. I made sure to eat something soft. I wasn't in any pain. I felt an immense pressure. Like it felt like this part up. I felt a lot of pressure up in here. It was such a weird feeling. I was able to eat just fine. I went to bed. I brushed my teeth. I went to bed. I woke up the next day and I had to go to work. That was tough. The day after was really tough. I was in pain. It wasn't like excruciating pain, but it was like, it was sore. My top teeth were sore. Like they felt like they were gonna pop out of my head. It was such a weird feeling. I didn't eat anything that morning. For lunchtime, I went and had some soup, and they had like this very soft like pita bread that I thought I was gonna be able to bite into. I literally grabbed a little piece and I went like this, and I just got like shooting pain up into my skull. No way, that was not gonna happen. So I lived on smoothies, soups, and very soft rice for like, I want to say it was about 3 or 4 days. I just could not eat. Like, it hurt too much. And then after that, it got a little bit better because I didn't have my bottom braces, so I was able to kind of put food like in the back of my mouth, like in my back molars weren't as sensitive as my front teeth. The front teeth are the worst. They were so sensitive. They hurt so much. So at that appointment, I had set my next appointment for 6 weeks. So I went back in 6 weeks, and at that initial application appointment for my top braces, my orthodontist did say to me, when you come back at your next 6-week appointment, we will be applying your bottom braces. So by that time you come back, your top braces, you'd already settle into them. You wouldn't feel so overwhelmed. So 6 weeks later was March 10th, 2018. I went in and they did adjust the top braces. I did get a longer spring put in on this tooth. So initially they had put in like a really short one because the space was little. And when I went back, the space had opened up more, so I had extra space. So they put in an even bigger spring to really really get those teeth far apart. And they left the same wire in. They just put in a bigger spring on the top, and then they applied my bottom braces. So that went good. I did get in 4 spacers on my back molars. And what those spacers are they are put in there to make space for these metal bands that go around your molar. And I can actually show you, and it looks weird, but look, these. So I didn't have enough space. Like, there just wasn't enough space to fit those molars, to fit those bands down into my molars. So they did end up putting these little blue rubber, like they look like rubber bands in between each tooth here. Here, let me zoom in. So they did end up putting those spacers here and back here. And those were gonna stay in for 6 weeks to make space for the bands. Oh my gosh. Those spacers were a nightmare. Like, so the assistant tried to put them in just normally, like with these pliers, and they wouldn't go in because the space was so tight. He actually ended up hitting me in the mouth like twice trying to put them in, and then he used like this floss trick to finally wedge them in there, and it felt like I had a piece of meat permanently stuck in between my gum and my tooth for 6 weeks. That's basically what it felt like. So they applied the spacers. They told me, okay, those are gonna stay in there for 6 weeks. At your next adjustment, we'll take them out, and then we'll see if we can fit those metal bands in. Okay, I felt fine. My husband went with me that day to my appointment. We went and ran some errands, and we went home and we started watching a movie. Halfway through the movie, I got really hungry, and I poured myself some cereal. And I usually like really like soggy soft cereal, so I let it sit, and I thought like, okay, this is soft enough for me to chew. No way. As soon as I put the cereal in my mouth and I went to kind of chew, I got the worst excruciating pain just shooting into my bottom jaw. I had to take an ibuprofen. I had to take 3 ibuprofens because I was in so much pain. Like, it started just throbbing to the point where I went to bed early that night, and my husband got me an ice pack to kind of rest on my bottom jaw because it was so painful. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, I had to take a little mini lunch break, and it's cold in here, so I put my sweater on. Okay, so I was talking about my pain on my bottom teeth. Really bad. It really hurt the next day. So I got them on Saturday. Sunday, I was literally in pain all day. I was in bed. I didn't want to eat anything. I kept having to take ibuprofen because it was like the pain on my bottom teeth was like, it was like pulsating. It was so much pressure and it was like this pulsating feeling. That lasted for a good 4 days where I was like not able to eat anything. Yeah, I think, yeah, 4 days, and then I was okay to eat, but then I had the spacers, those rubber band spacers in the back, in my molars. So then it was just uncomfortable eating even after the pain kind of wore off, because those spacers, every time I'd go and chew something, it would like the food would like jam the spacers like down into my gums, and my gums were so sore and they hurt and they bled every single time. Every time I did my water pick, which is like flossing, like my back molars, my gums would just bleed really bad. It started to get a little bit easier as the weeks kind of progressed. I noticed a week before I had to go back for my second adjustment. I noticed that the little spacers were kind of loose. Like one of them actually kind of popped out as I was eating because they were like, they made a lot of space. So much so that like they weren't even, the fit in between my tooth wasn't even like tight anymore. So they were just like loose. They were just like loose in my mouth. I didn't want to, I actually ended up putting it back in because I didn't want to take it out just in case my teeth like were to move back, because there's a possibility that they do. So I kind of just wedged it back in there. I was like so over those spacers. I wanted them out. I kept telling my husband, I was like, I can't wait until these stupid spacers are out of my mouth. Lo and behold, did I know it was around the corner waiting for me. Okay, so yeah, so then 6 weeks later I went back, and that was this most recent adjustment on my teeth, which was April 23rd, 2018. And one exciting thing is they ended up taking the spring off, and they actually ended up putting a bracket on that back tooth and connecting it to the wire, and they actually ended up changing out my wire to a much thinner one. They put the bracket and then they connected that tooth, which now I'm so happy because that tooth is coming up to the front. As far as my bottom teeth, they ended up putting those metal bands that I showed you earlier on the back of my molars. There was, lo and behold, enough space. They took the stupid elastic spacers out and then they put these metal ones in, and then actually connected my wire to the back. There was one issue though, which now brings me to these lovely nubs on my teeth that look like I have pieces of gum, or my sister thought I had cotton in my mouth. These lovely guys. And those are bite blocks, and the reason why I had to get these beautiful things in my mouth are because this top tooth and this bottom tooth, when my orthodontist was like, go ahead and bite down, this bottom tooth was knocking the bracket and we couldn't have that. So it's like, so that back tooth was behind the tooth. So it was like this, right? But let's say my ring is the bracket. So whenever I went to go bite down, that bottom tooth was like hitting the bracket. So that was going to be a huge problem, because if I was not careful on a time when I was biting down, then that bracket would just bing and just fling off my mouth. That was not going to be cool. So my orthodontist ended up putting these two nubs on my two bottom teeth, and that keeps me from biting down all the way. As you can tell, there's a gap, so much so that I can talk with my mouth still like this. So I can't fully close because those bite blocks. I'm hoping that these will only be in my mouth for 6 weeks until my next adjustment. I'm gonna be 2 weeks out from this last adjustment tomorrow on Friday. On Friday the 4th. It was really weird. I was super self-conscious. Like, she came in and she told me, she's like, okay, like, I know this is gonna look really weird, but we have to put these on you. I remember looking, like, I went home and I looked in the mirror and I was like mortified. I was like, what the hell? Like, it looks like I have chiclets like on my teeth. I was super self-conscious of it. Like, my husband came home and I was like, look at my mouth, and he's like, you can't even tell. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Like, look how white they are compared to my teeth. I had the worst lisp ever, which I still kind of do. Like, certain words, like, I lisp really badly. It's gotten a lot better. One thing that I did notice was that I was getting little sores on the side of my mouth where my tongue, or sorry, on the side of my tongue where my tongue was rubbing up against those little nubs. That was a pain. Like it was just raw. And another thing is the back bands have like a bracket that sticks out further than these brackets. Those were cutting up the sides of my mouth like there's no tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I went literally the first week that I had after my adjustment, my whole mouth was raw. Like, especially my back cheeks on the bottom was just raw, where those stupid brackets were just like literally shredding my skin. So wax was my best friend. It was really annoying, but I got through it. It's been now, I'm going on like day 3 where I don't need the wax on the bottom. And I think it's because, one, my skin has healed and it's like calloused up, like it's thicker skin, so it's not getting shredded. And 2, I've had a lot of movement on those bottom teeth, especially like those molars. So I think that they're in a position now where like they're not like, what I think was happening was those back molars, I think, were like flared out to the sides, which is what was causing that rubbing on the outside where my cheek was. And I think now they're more like straight, so that's why they're not rubbing. Let me see. I think that's it for now. I will, like I said, I will be doing more follow-up videos. This was just like my first introduction to my braces. I was initially gonna start doing it from like day 1, but life happens and I just didn't have enough time or energy to do it. But now that, you know, I'm 3.5 months in, like, I can for sure, like, I have enough experience to really talk about it. One thing I have noticed is there's so much saliva in my mouth. Oh my gosh, especially at night when I'm sleeping. And I know this is TMI, but I drool like there's no tomorrow. It's like, it's just like, even if I have my mouth like this, my mouth doesn't close all the way. So there's still like openings on the side of my mouth where like my saliva just like creeps through. It's disgusting. I hate it. And no one prepared me for the amount of saliva that I would be like having to stuff back into my mouth. Like, it's disgusting. I have a pretty good routine down as far as like my like mouth braces cleaning goes. I might have to film that. I might have to give some good recommendations, because I'm like pretty much a champ. Like, I brush my teeth like 3 times a day and I floss like twice a day because I'm so paranoid about having stuff stuck in my teeth, which I just had lunch, so I'm pretty sure maybe there's some stuff stuck in my mouth right now. Yeah, let me know what you think. I could probably do a video about like how much it costs. Yeah, I think that is it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave those down below and I will answer those as best as I can. Yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking around and I will see you guys soon. Bye.